What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Jet from Recovery, and for today's video I'm going to share my salary as a Band 5 recovery nurse. If you're in my channel for the first time, please don't forget to click like and subscribe and watch out for my other videos. So I've been in the UK for 6 months now, and I started as a Band 4 pre-registered nurse, and at the moment I'm working as a Band 5 recovery nurse. Back home, I only have a little over a year clinical experience plus 1 year academic experience for a grand total of 2 years and 8 months. Not all trusts are the same. Some trusts pay newly hired nurses as Band 3, but luckily for YDH employees, we are paid the top of Band 4 when we were still pre-registered. But now, of course, since we already have our PINs and we've finished our competencies, we are now being paid as Band 5. I'm not sharing this video to brag or to show off to other people, but it's actually the opposite. I want to inspire the new nurses who have the, British dream. Can we call it British dream? Because they have like American dream. I don't know if we have the British dream or the UK dream. Okay, whatever, Alright, let's start the video. So just a disclaimer, my only dependent is my wife. We don't have kids yet, and I'm not sending money back in the Philippines because my parents are here, and actually they have more money than I do. So I don't have to send them anything. My brother and sister, they're also working, and actually they're also earning much more than I do. So I'm not really worried about that. So the only people that I'm spending for is myself and my wife, nobody else. I'm not really keen on doing extra shifts. It's not that I'm lazy, but it's just that I want to treasure my days off. I don't want to live to work. I want to work to live, if you get what I mean. So in my first month in the United Kingdom, I was at the top of Band 4 because I was a pre-registered nurse. So even if I am registered in my home country, I don't have my PIN yet. So my salary back then, 24,882, and this is annual salary. So I was earning 12.72, 51 pounds for every hour, and I work for 150 hours every month, although there's a little excess. So when I was still a pre-registered nurse, I was still a supernumerary, so I wasn't really included in the rota. I was only assisting the registered practitioners inside the theater. I didn't work during the weekends, so my shifts were normally 9 to 6 for 4 days, so that's Monday to Thursday, and on the 5th day, Fridays, I have a half day, which is 9 o'clock to 2:30, and I usually had 1 hour break during these shifts, except for the half day, wherein I only get 15 minutes of tea break. If you look at my payslip, I also have basic pay arrears, which was a total of 334, and this was my payment during my quarantine because I arrived in the UK on August 26, 2021, and because of COVID, I had to undergo 10 days isolation. But during this period, I was also paid. It is the government policy that all people who come from red list countries, including the Philippines back then, have to undergo a 10-day mandatory quarantine. Well, at least I got paid. You can also see here £1,000 as relocation expenses, which was part of my recruitment package. On the right, you can see several deductions, including my national insurance, NHS pension, which was 7.1%, and accommodation deposit, which is equal to 1 month rent in the hospital accommodation. The recovery advance pay is actually a payment of the relocation expenses. So not all trusts are the same. My trust happened to be giving this relocation allowance, which is in fact an advance salary and not a sign-in bonus. There might be other trusts that could be giving bonuses for recruited nurses, but again, this varies from trust to trust. In fairness, I didn't pay for the hotel quarantine. I didn't pay for transportation when I arrived in the UK. The hospital sent a taxi to fetch me from London, Heathrow, and to Yeovil. I think it's fair. Next is my payslip on October. So there was no other bonuses here. You can only see my basic pay and a total amount of 2,000 something. And for the deductions, I was deducted the same. You see here the monthly recovery advance pay, which is again £170, and my monthly rent, which is £510. and therefore I received a net pay of 1,093. Well, remember again that this is because my rent is already been deducted from my earnings, and I wasn't doing extra shifts, I wasn't doing night shifts. Actually, last October, I had several days under transition training, so I wasn't really working all of the time. I was under training, but I still got the full payment of £2,000. So not bad, right? Next, I'm going to show you my payslip last November, because during this month, they've given me a shift during Sunday and a shift that was beyond 8 p.m. There was also other things that they paid me for. This was also the time when I got the refund for my expenses for my NMC registration. So as you can see, I have my basic pay here, relocation expenses. So this covers the refund for my OET, my CBT, and the first part of my NMC registration. This is because the hospital covers the second part of the NMC registration, including the OSCE exam and our initial registration if we pass the test of competence. So as you can see here, I received 544.51, and also there was an enhancement, Sunday enhancement, because I had one shift during Sunday, but I was only paid for 4.8 hours because this Sunday shift was already included in my rota. They're not going to pay me twice for that day. And I also have unsocial enhancement, which is 30% of my usual charge. So you can see here I have £3 enhancement here. Unsocial enhancement is given if you worked after 8 p.m. I was paid this enhancement because I had a 12:30 to 9 shift, which was a bit experimental, just for me to see what they do during late shifts. And work time directive pay, which was equal to £8. So this work time directive pay is kind of an overtime, which was given if you exceeded the minimum number of hours in your contract. And same for my deductions. I paid the same, a grand total of 1,696. So if we add the 510 monthly deposit or monthly rent, this is actually 2,200. Not bad. Again, I only did one Sunday shift and one late shift. So I wasn't doing any extra shifts, I wasn't doing any banks, I wasn't doing any night shifts. I find my salary just enough. Not too big, not too measly. I was happy with my salary because, again, I wasn't exhausted. I could still buy the things I want. Next I'm going to show you was my payslip on December. I wanted to show you this one because December was my OSCE. I was on university leave or study leave for 2 weeks. But still, as you can see on my payslip, I was paid the entire amount, which was good. So for your OSCE, I'm not sure if all trusts do this, but in my trust, they gave us adequate time to prepare for the OSCE, take the OSCE, and they even gave me some time after the OSCE to relax. 3 days after my OSCE, we actually went to London. As you've seen my video, my wife and one of our roommates, RJ, we visited London in December. Yeah, that's where I used my extra days off. Anyway, December, still I was supernumerary because I haven't received my PIN during this time, unfortunately, because of some problem with my OET verification and my previous Middle East records. If only I knew these things, I could have gotten my PIN last December. After passing the OSCE, you could actually receive your PIN as long as all your documents, as long as all your records are complete and up to date. So for me, I was really clueless, so that's partly my fault. By the way, I had my PIN last January 15. So my net pay for this month was 1,127. The monthly fee was already deducted from this amount. So I'm happy still. I included January in this video because this was the time when my wife and I had COVID. Actually, all of us in the flat had COVID. So we were under 10 days isolation, mandatory. So we didn't have to go to work. But take a look at the basic pay. I was still paid the whole amount. So I was really relieved because I remember when I got COVID, it was really It was really difficult. I mean, everything was painful. It was difficult to swallow. It was even difficult to speak. But fortunately, my wife and I, we've fully recovered from COVID. Anyway, I had 1 day enhancement for 1 Sunday shift and 1 unsocial enhancement. That's why I have several additions to my pay here. Unfortunately, January was the first month where I had to pay tax, which is PAYE, which is indicated here as PAYE. I had to pay 128.6 pounds of tax. Everything else was the same. My net pay during this month was only 1,030, which is actually 1,540 if we include the monthly rent. On the footnote of my payslip, you can see I still have 170 pounds outstanding balance for my advance salary, which was given to me last September. Yikes. Alright, second to last payslip was February, and this was the month wherein I paid for my recovery advance for the last time. Fortunately, I had several enhancements. I had 2 Saturday shifts and I think 4 late shifts, because I had 4 unsocial enhancement here and 2 Saturday enhancements. So during this month, February, I already had my PIN and I finished all my competencies, but because my experience was less than 10 years in total, so I started at the bottom of band 5 scale. So my salary here is indicated as 25,655. That is my annual salary. And my increment date is January 15, 2023, which means that my salary will go up by this date. So I will climb up the scale of band 5. And for my deductions, ouch, I was still paying the tax, this time 209.20. The reason why my tax this month is different from last month is because tax is computed based on your total earnings. And of course, earnings are not the same depending on the number of shifts that you do and the number of enhancements that are added to your pay. So my net pay was only 1,030 pounds, but thankfully I didn't have to pay for the recovery advance again. So this was my last month of paying this recovery advance, whatever. And finally, my payslip last month, March 2022. So last month I had several on-calls, and fortunately these on-calls, I was cold. On-call, I was cold. I had to report for work. So as you can see on my payslip, I have several enhancements, including night duty, Saturday, Sunday, and social emergency work, which was 130% of my usual rate. So this was the on-call. And I have also trust on-call for Monday, Saturday, Sundays. So for my trust, I'm not sure with other trusts. For Yeovil Hospital, if you are on call and you aren't cold, you will be paid £1 for every hour that passes, depending on the day. For example, during weekdays, you will be paid 1.1 pounds per hour. For Saturdays, 1.3, and for Sundays, 1.5 per hours. So my net pay for this month was 1,337.51, and I'm very happy because I don't owe the hospital any recovery advance anymore. So this was my clean pay. I already paid for my accommodation, so this 1,300 thing, I could spend it for food, for anything that I like. I don't have to worry paying for the place where my wife and I are staying in. More money to spend. No, more savings. More earnings mean more savings. And those are my payslips from the time I started in the trust until last month, March 2022. So I'm not sharing this video to brag or to show off or whatever. I'm just posting this, I'm just sharing this to, inspire you, especially those who are coming overseas and have the UK dream. Thank you for watching, and if you like this video, please don't forget to click like and subscribe, and watch out for my other videos. If you look at my channel, I have several other videos too. You can click one of them if you like and then watch, or not, whatever. I'm not forcing you to do anything. Bye!